Delila Edwards, a university administrator, steps forward with a determined look, ready to confront Tracy Garcia, a sales representative. What begins as a straightforward claim for a bounced check soon spirals into deeper accusations.
Miss Edwards, according to your complaint, you're involved with some sort of a cheerleading squad that's attached to a football league?
Yes.
And the defendant said that she would collect some money for the cheerleaders' banquet. And she did, and she said she raised $75. And she gave you a check for the $75.
Correct.
You put the check into your account, and the check bounced. You want her to pay triple damages for the fact that the check bounced and it threw your account out of whack, and you had certain fees and charges, et cetera, et cetera. Defendant says it was her ex-husband's check. She didn't know that the account had been closed, and whatever it was, she made up the money by giving cash to the football league. But we really hear about this check. Now, who has the check for me to look at?
I do.
Can I see it, please? So she did not sign this check?
No, that's what the bank is telling me. I spoke to the customer
No,
service.
she did not sign this check. It's clear that this is signed by someone by the name of Joseph.
Correct.
So she gave you Joseph check for $75.
Correct.
You deposited Joseph check into your bank, and Joseph check bounced.
Yes, it came back actually unable to locate account, which means the account has been closed for more than 6 months.
Edwards accuses Garcia of not only disrupting her finances, but casting doubt on her integrity as the leader of a cheerleading squad. But what happened behind the scenes?
And when did she give you this check? On what date?
December 6th, the evening of the banquet. I was in contact.
On December 6th, she
Yes.
gave it to you?
Yes.
Well, it's dated December 8th.
I see.
Check is dated. How did you come into possession of this check, Ms. Garcia?
My ex-husband gave that check to me to give to them.
To give to them. Why would your ex-husband give you a check to give to them?
Because when I had originally received the sponsorship money, it was in a check and it was made out to me. When I asked them what I should do with that, they told me to go ahead and cash it, and then I would give them the money. So the night of the banquet, my children were home with the chicken pox, and I didn't have time to go to the bank, so I told my ex-husband if he could give me a check and I would give him the money.
Where is he? How did you get in touch with your ex-husband?
Well, we still stay in contact, and he was at home. I went down to his home, he gave me the check, and I told him on Monday I would give him the money to cover the check. And he agreed upon that. Well, I had no idea that this account was closed.
Garcia's defense raises eyebrows. She shifts the blame to her ex-husband, claiming innocence. But does this defense hold water, or is it a carefully crafted story to avoid accountability?
Did you explain that to the plaintiff?
I haven't even spoken to her. They could have gotten in touch with me several times.
Your Honor, we left several messages before it came to this. We called relentlessly. We left messages at home. I started by calling and saying, you know, hey, Tracy, I still have trophies I need to get to the girls. Could you please call me so I can get their phone numbers and get in contact with the girls? When I made the first phone call, I already knew about the check, and I left no message regarding the check in hopes that she would call me back and I could get her on the phone and say, you know, hey, Trace, this check came back. Can we work this out? You know, if you'll just pay me the amount of the check back.
Edwards recounts her relentless attempts to contact Garcia, underscoring a brewing frustration that's palpable.
We would have been happy. We got no return phone call from her at all.
All right, now we have a bad check. She doesn't get treble damages. This is not your check that was drawn by you on your bank. This was your husband's check. I cannot impugn to you knowledge that the account was closed because he gave you this check.
The tension heightens as Judge Judy holds up the check, revealing it's signed by someone named Joseph. Viewers are now left questioning, was this a calculated move by Garcia or simply a bizarre mix-up?
Right? But out of curiosity, what did you do with the $75 that you had in fact collected?
It was turned into the board where the money should have originally gone. This money is supposed to be funneled through the board. It's not to be deposited into anybody's personal account.
Suddenly, the narrative pivots. Accusations about the football board come to light. Has Edwards underestimated how deep this financial confusion runs?
Okay, Your Honor. I received from the restaurant owner that donated the money to her in the amount of $75. I have a copy of the carbon from the check that he actually made it out to the Redlands Football Organization. However, Tracy deposited that check in her personal account, so she altered the check as well.
I do not have a personal account to even deposit anything into. I do not have a checking account or
Well, then
a
I'd like to
savings
know how
account.
this check got cashed, and I have a letter from the restaurant owner as well.
Well, did you check with the board and find out whether she
We've
had in
left
fact...
messages for the board.
Shh. Did you check with the board to find out whether she had in fact deposited the $75 with the board?
No, I didn't. I actually called the board because they owe us money still.
Oh, okay. Do you have something from the board
Right, I have a
indicating-
statement from the board.
Can I see it, please?
Both Edward and Delila have been removed from the Redlands Football Board.
Just one second. I see a deposit made in the amount of $75 in cash to Community Bank, and that was on February the 12th.
Conveniently.
You didn't
Redlands-
make the deposit to
No,
them
I
until
didn't.
February.
I didn't make that deposit. I gave them cash. That was the deposit showing that
That they made the
they
deposit.
made the deposit.
Okay. In any event, the board has indicated that they have in fact received from Ms. Garcia the $75. You can read this if you like. That's the most important thing, that they have received it. There's a lot of other stuff there that I'm...
Right. The reason that money came to us was because we had put out of pocket a large sum of money for the banquet. We did get some money from the board. We also are still owed money from the board. So in fact, that money is money still out of our pocket that Tracy handed us a fraudulent check.
Ms. Edwards, she did not give you knowingly a fraudulent check. I want you to stop for a second.
Okay.
There is no proof, and you do not have any proof, that she knew at the time she gave you this check that this was a closed account.
The moment of truth. Judge Judy's final words slice through the tension, dismissing Edwards' case but not without raising eyebrows. Is this justice served or an injustice hidden by legal technicalities?
I spoke to Bank of America, whom the check is drawn on,
Yeah.
and they provided me with some additional information regarding the check.
Okay.
They can verify that that account has been closed since March 10th of 1998, and the signature does not match the signature they have on file for Mr.
Whatever. You cannot establish that she knowingly gave you a bad check. This was clearly not a joint account. It was in his name only. His name only. So that being the case, and if the money is supposed to go to some charitable organization, she collected $75. She turned that money over to the board. I'm sorry if the board still owes you more money, but she doesn't owe you anything. Case is dismissed.
Parties are excused. You may step out.